Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 10 Minutes Astrology. Alejo, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you? How's everyone? I hope you're all well.
Yeah, I think so. And I hope so. We have a very, very interesting moment because at this moment, even we are recording, but I'm traveling to Asia for the Lunar New Year now. So what you see is recording, okay? But that is like the whole lot of work done. But Alejo, are you going to have any teaching coming up open to the public?
Okay, yes. So at the end of February, we're starting a cycle of 3 webinars. They are called the Integrated Self. And the first one is about Venus, Mars, and the Sun. So even if they are not in aspect, the question is how do these three planets work with each other? Because the idea is the Sun
Mm.
is who you are, the Mars is how you defend what you want, and Venus perhaps describes what you like. So
Mhm.
how can we work with these planets to help them work together?
Wow, sounds very interesting. Especially most people were thinking they have to have aspect to work together. No, they are all
No,
there, and
of course.
we have to integrate and that make them working together. That sounds very interesting. So this is on the 28th of February.
28th of February is the first one. Then we're going to do one about Jupiter and Saturn. How do they work together? And then we're
Okay.
going to do one about the moon and Saturn. But in any case, you don't have to do the three of them. You can do the three if you want, but you can just do one, of course. Yeah.
So our audience will register this on the faculty's website.
Uh, Super important. Thank you. Yes. So this is happening at the Faculty of Astrological Studies. The first one is 28th of February at 3 p.m. You can attend live online or you can watch the recording for 30 days. And if you want to sign up, just go to astrology.org.uk/online seminars and you will find it there. Yes.
Cool, cool. So if you are a beginner or even you are in the advanced level, but you want to know how this planet work together, please come to join Alejo's webinar. So today we are going to focus on the transiting Uranus in the eighth house, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the eighth house.
So eighth house. So eighth house, we talk about intimacy. We talk
Hmm.
about shared resources. We talk about what's happening behind doors. We talk about things that are hidden. We talk about sometimes phases of crisis and transformation. Of course, all the taboo issues. So a lot of astrologers put here sex, death,
Mm.
um, and yeah, all of that.
Somehow they are all linked together. A little bit in that like a tiny corner of a basement that you never like. Ooh, when every time you approach it, like, I don't really want to go there on my own. Or where is my torch? Where is my torch? I need to. So when you transiting Uranus move into this place, it's suddenly you open it.
Yes, actually, yes. It's like a sudden thunder, a sudden ray of light
Yeah.
comes to this underground place, and you may become suddenly aware of patterns that you had that were unconscious, that you were not seeing. First of all, I
Uh-huh.
think you might become aware, and secondly, I think you might see the opportunity of breaking them because with Uranus we try things that are free, things that are different. So you might start to feel free from those patterns. Yes.
I think it is very important, as you mentioned, about it's like a flashlight. So it's like a horror movie. It's like a horror movie. You're working in the dark or basement, and suddenly the flashlight shines something. You're like, oh, what is that? And usually people will get panicking. People will get scared. But
Yeah.
like Alejo say, once you see it, more you understand what is that, you probably will feel like, okay, it's not that terrible. At least you see it. So like for change our those taboo or change those unspeakable fear or secret or something. The first things we have to aware about it, isn't it?
Yes. And I agree with you that a sudden ray of light coming from the eighth house can be scary
Mm.
because it's showing us parts of ourselves that we don't normally want to look at. And parts of ourselves and parts of our relationships because it's also intimacy. So maybe, you're going to start having some questions about what happens in the relationship, not in the openness of the relationship, and it's not
Mm,
necessarily sex, but it's like what happens in like an intimate connection with this person.
mm. But however, one of the character of Uranus is about cutting through. So does that mean we may going to have like a kind of breakup moment?
It
Could
could
that
mean
happen?
the eighth house also. I think Robert, no, Howard Sasportas. Yeah,
Mm.
I think Howard Sasportas mentions the eighth house will describe how you're going to get divorced. So it's quite an interesting idea. But I think the idea comes from this idea that the eighth house is shared resources. So
Yeah.
when Uranus goes there, there is a sense of, I need to feel more independent. I need to feel more free in the way we handle resources together. This doesn't mean that I'm going to break up. It could
Mhm.
mean, what it means is that probably there's going to be a sense of instability, a sense of something different, something changing, something that I feel is not, I cannot trust that it's going to be there. And so some questionings about this and the opportunity to bring a new perspective, a new way of dealing with relationships or intimacy. So it's not necessarily, you know, you can see it as a breakup if you want, but it doesn't mean
Mhm.
that the relationship ends. Maybe there's a breakup in terms that the way that the relation was established, the way that the
Mhm.
patterns in the relationship were established are being shaken, and a new relationship emerges. So you're still together, but the patterns now that you're building respond to another principle, which is more about freedom and individuality, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you say about it's not all about the breakup or divorce, but the pattern, or we try to like have a new insight of the intimacy or share resources. Somehow, my personal experience or my observation of people who experience the Uranus, transiting Uranus in the eighth house, sometimes they are kind of a curving for the freedom. They say, I don't want anything. Set me free, or please leave me alone. Somehow it's like it's a bit like a running naked with blindfolding. Sorry, that
Mm.
image. So it's like you are vulnerable and you want to set yourself free, but you have a blindfolding. You don't know where to look, where to go, and you don't know what you're running away from. So all this together, somehow it can like take a little bit need time to work it out, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it's always a mystery, right? So
Yeah.
is Uranus in the eighth house pointing to the time in when you're supposed to break free? Or is Uranus in the eighth house making you feel that you want to break free, but actually it's going to go and then maybe you will regret it? So it's always, I always have this question. So I
Yeah.
think it's important when we do astrology to not to try to predict what's going to happen, but to say, okay, now is the right moment to ask this question: in which aspect I don't feel free in my intimate relationships or in the way we handle resources, and not so much, because otherwise it becomes like an all or nothing thing. Either I
Yeah.
respond to Uranus and I break completely free, or I reject the transits and I keep the pattern. And I'm like, no, the Uranus is coming here to ask you a question: in which
Mm.
way you are not experiencing freedom in your intimate relationships.
Wow, beautiful. So I think next time when we're dealing with the people who has the transiting Uranus in the eighth house, or you are going to experience the transiting Uranus in the eighth house, maybe we should ask ourselves, what are you trying to break away from? And
Yes.
that is a super important question that you can ask yourself, rather than no, just set me free. I don't want anything. Just like reject anything, and that somehow, well, I don't want to say bad, but it somehow is like a little bit risky. Honestly, I have to say, and that would be like, and also remember, it's not all about divorce or breakup. Okay, well, thank you. Oh, thank you, Alejo, for joining us today. And next week we are going to talk about the transiting Uranus in the ninth house. See you. Bye bye.
Bye.